There was some other small news this week also that I feel
Oh yeah, so don't want to
we
forget.
should talk about. The Spider-Man.
Mm.
She's not in the MCU anymore.
Yeah, Dylan, what the hell? What is this?
Um, yep. So Sony and Disney slash Kevin Feige couldn't really strike a deal. I was just talking about this with you yesterday and before we came on.
Hmm.
There's two different theories of what happened. One, which I feel like is the most, what makes the most sense, is that Disney wanted 50-50 of the profit shares. So I think it was like Disney was like, hey, we'll finance 50% of the movie, but we also want 50% of the profits. And Sony was like, "Fuck you," because the movie only costs like 100 million to get made or whatever it costs. But they're
Yeah.
all like Spider-Man: Far From Home just made $1 billion.
Mm.
So like kind of do that math. Yeah, we put forward 60 million to get this movie made. You put forward 60 million, but we're also not getting. We're getting 500 million when we should be getting $1 billion of a property we own. And my take actually has kind of changed on this since we last talked.
Oh, okay, cool.
Um, not completely. Yesterday when we recorded the greatest podcast that never was,
Hmm.
I was shitting all over Sony. And I was kind of like, there's both sides to blame, but fuck Sony because Sony sucks. I mean, Kevin Feige and Disney have to do everything possible to keep Spider-Man
Right.
because he is now not only is he the most recognizable person in Marvel, but he's now the face of the MCU.
Hmm.
It's still not Thor, even though Thor has had like a Thor-assance.
Hmm.
Uh, Now with Tony Stark and Captain America gone, it's Spider-Man.
Right.
This is Spider-Man's team now, if you will.
Hmm.
And at all you cannot lose. So I guess just hit the mic. Disney before was getting 5% of the profit shares.
Hmm.
So Sony was getting 95, Disney was getting 5. Obviously, a majority of and this is kind of Disney's pro Disney. Disney was really the only reason these movies were one good. Kevin Feige is the genius he is. Was the only one that really turned around the shit deal that Sony's been doing with Spider-Man for their past two series, basically from Spider-Man 3 on, excluding Into the Spider-Verse, has been terrible.
Right.
And so they're like, but for Disney to be like, hey, let's bring this from 5% to 50 to half.
Hmm.
Is a little brash, and then Sony just didn't counter. Apparently, this is all unconfirmed.
They just said no. Thanks, though.
Which Sony, like, you got to counter there, but also Disney, you got to be like, you got to not just up your 45% right off the bat.
Right.
And given, yes, a majority of the reason that these movies are making $1 billion and are an 80 and above on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes is because it's an MCU / Kevin Feige Disney Marvel movie. But I don't know. You said it yesterday. This fucking sucks. This
sucks.
Trash.
Yep. So obviously Sony, they're never going to give up Spider-Man. Spider-Man's insanely valuable property to them, not only because of the Spider-Man movies, which, like we just said, made over $1 billion with the last one, and Far From Home, or rather Homecoming, made like what 600, 700, 800.
It had to be up there. It had to be
yeah, and then Venom, a incredibly mediocre movie, made $850 million. And then, let's not forget, this license allows them to make the exclusive Spider-Man video game, which as of January 2019 sold 9 million copies, which is $540 million. Sony prints money with the Spider-Man license, and I understand why they'd be reluctant to give up, that money, because let's be honest, man, other than Disney right now, studios are struggling in terms of making money. Like, they bought Fox, but Fox's, share of the Disney profits lost, like, I think it was $160 million between Dark Phoenix and Stuber. And, like, the only other studio to have $1 billion movie is Sony because of Spider-Man. So it's a complicated thing for them, and I can see their reluctance to just give Disney all that money, especially when you consider that Disney is straight up becoming like the only show in town, in movies, and soon to be streaming probably as well, while they kill Netflix with their Disney Plus.
So that's another thing that was announced today too. We are the Mandalorian. I don't know if the trailer's come out yet. That's a show I'm very much looking forward to. The Mandalorian, the new Star Wars series on Disney Plus, which also apparently is going. It's a week by week show, so it's not going to be an all binge at once, which I kind of like.
Okay, something different.
It's a nice thing. It's good to look for shows week by week.
Mm-hmm.
The really last show I did for that was Game of Thrones, which we all know what happened with that.
Just said it was good, Dylan. I get you for sure. I think that'll be an interesting approach, just because Netflix has tried this in the past with certain shows, and I don't know how people necessarily felt about it. I never watched any of the shows that they were releasing week by week, to be honest, so I can't comment too much on that.
But yeah, back on the Spider-Man, not to get too far off track. Really, the biggest victims here are Tom Holland and us, the viewers.
Right.
Because Tom Holland and John Watts were both the director of the movies. Were both greenlit for 2 more movies, based on the ending of Spider-Man: Far From Home. Obviously, a huge cliffhanger. There is still very much story to be told, and I'm gonna just come out and say I'm still holding out hope that this is a deal still eventually gonna be reached.
I agree.
Because I don't think we're gonna get a Spider-Man movie within the next 2 or 3 years anyway, unless Disney was hiding it in their timeline of what was gonna come out. So I do think there's still a lot of time for things to get worked out.
Yeah.
My biggest concern is Venom 2. And kind of what we talked about yesterday too. Andy Serkis is now directing Venom 2, which it's a move I liked. I was indifferent with the first Venom. I thought it was a good movie. I didn't think it deserved like the 20% it had on Rotten Tomatoes. I also don't know if it deserved the 89% critics fan score it had. But it was good. I laughed a couple times.
It was a popcorn flick for sure.
I like Tom Hardy a lot more than I like Topher Grace's Venom, so that was nice.
Yeah.
My biggest concern is that they're somehow going to try to, like, kind of like not hold Spider-Man at ransom, but to kind of be like, well, like all right, you want 50%, cool. Like, you see this Venom movie we're getting ready to shoot. Well, guess what? Tom Holland is going to be the end credit scene of that movie, and we are now going to be doing a Venom versus Spider-Man movie. So that's my biggest fear is that the only thing that I'm worried about is Sony is going to be like, all right, well, fuck it. Spider-Man is as hot as he's ever been right now. Tom Holland is the perfect Spider-Man. You know what? Let's get him into this Venom movie as soon as possible, and that's what worries me the most. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I respect the hustle out of Sony for setting up not only the Venomverse in the background, having escape, hatch for Tom Holland Spider-Man out of the MCU, but also really, figuring out how to make a good Spider-Man movie again, specifically with Into the Spider-Verse, which we both think is the best Spider-Man movie. So there's no reason they can't make another good Spider-Man movie live action. It's just...
I disagree. I don't think they can.
You don't think they can, even after seeing Into the Spider-Verse?
No, because Into the Spider-Verse is such like a unique property. Honestly, it's just such a unique idea that it's. I mean, kind of did, and this is totally. I have a lot of more fresh ideas after listening to Lights Camera Parcel, so I can't mark them all as my own. But Sony just doesn't know what to do with big properties like this. Like, Sony severely mismarketed Into the Spider-Verse. They put out the Far From Home trailer before. They put out the final trailer for Into the Spider-Verse, which is nuts to me because you're taking away the buzz from it.
Yeah, kind of confusing to casual audiences too.
Into the Spider-Verse only made like 300. It made less than 400 million.
Yeah, but this is also a not Pixar animated movie. Which
as it's an Oscar-winning movie now. It won Best Picture at the Oscars. We've discussed it's my favorite Spider-Man movie. With both of our favorite Spider-Man movie, it's one of the best movies I've seen in the past 5 years. It's a near perfect movie, and I just don't think they knew what they had, and it kind of just plays into it had a lot to do with the directors of that movie. I'm trying to blank out their names. It's the same guys that did the Lego movies.
Lord and Miller.
Yes. Yeah. So they were the creative minds behind that. So I think that was I think.
Oh, they're great. They're are they the 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street people too?
Yep.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're great, like comedy. Also, an unknown portion of Solo, they directed.
Portion we will never know.
Yeah.
And so I think combination of that, it kind of comes back to that. I think Kevin Feige is the guy that really knew what to do with Spider-Man because I think the live action Spider-Man movies, even though I have a soft spot for the very first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, Homecoming and Far From Home are almost undebatably the best live-action Spider-Man movies.
Yeah. People like Spider-Man 2, but it's so different. It's so hard to compare to.
I do too.
Movies.
I mean, when we did our Spider-Man reviews, the drop off from Spider-Man 3 and then the two Amazing Spider-Mans into the other Spider-Mans was like pretty significant.
Yeah.
But let's also not forget that the past two live action Spider-Man movies for Sony before Tom Holland were both terrible with Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone.
Yeah.
That one's Stone, yes.
And Dennis Leary as the disapproving.
Dennis Leary, I'm a big Rescue Me fan, so that was actually pretty funny seeing. We could
do a podcast about that one day.
We should.
All right, word.
So I don't know. I'm nervous, Brian. I'm nervous, but I'm still holding out hope. I think it's going to get resolved. Shout out Brian Wong. We're going to do a shout out now because I don't even know if he's still going to check into this podcast when we start going into the movies he'll never see because he didn't go to the movie theaters. But Brian Wong's favorite superhero is Spider-Man. I got to be on there. Other than Batman, I think Spider-Man is my second favorite superhero.
Oh, everyone loves Spider-Man, right? Like he's the ultimate, good guy, rootable character, like nerd who's down on his luck, who gets these amazing powers and then decides to do good with them. Like nothing better than that.
My 2-year-old daughter, the first superhero she got into is Spider-Man. She loves Spider-Man pajamas. She loves playing the Spider-Man game. She loves Into the Spider-Verse for like the non-scary parts.
Oh yeah.
It's Spider-Man's great. And another victim of this too is the Deadpool Spider-Man movie that we were all hoping we were eventually going to get at. Tom Holland and Ryan Gosling together. I mean, not Ryan Gosling. Ryan Reynolds. Count me in, bro. Count me in.
Yeah, okay. 3, 2, 1.
What are you 3, 2, 1?
Oh, I thought you were like you wanted to redo that without messing up Ryan.
Oh no! Keep this in though. This is quality radio.
This is good.
All the things that we have to go through. It's quality radio. No, I'm just saying like Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling, Ryan Reynolds and Tom Holland. That was something I really wanted to see on the big screen.
Yeah.
I think it's what a lot of people wanted to see on the big screen.
Yeah. So. No, I mean obviously in the comics those two have a long storied history together, so it's sad that we are for sure not going to get that if this doesn't get remedied. Hey, maybe it'll be remedied by this weekend. We got D23 this weekend. We'll see. If not, it could be a while before we figure out exactly what's happening.
Yeah, correct. So like I said, I don't think this is the end of the story. So we'll see.